All right, guys, seems like it's finally working. I had some problems with Zoom here, but I think that's solved at this point. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me check my audio settings. All right, so seems like it's working. Let's get this started. I have a lot of stuff going on the screen. All right. Let's see. I was trying to set up the presentation today, guys. That's why it took a little longer. I'm signing in from Zoom onto YouTube, and it's all a little bit overwhelming, but I figured it out, I think. Okay, let me know, guys, if you see my presentation. I'm going to be monitoring the Telegram chat as well, if you have any questions. But let's get this party started. All right, super exciting times, another month, another milestone, another era, another epoch for Winding Tree. A lot of stuff has been happening last month. A lot more is going to be happening in the next weeks, months, and even hours. Let me just turn on this light over here. There we go. All right, guys. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about. Today, actually, I wanted to talk about a lot of different things, not just questions. Wanted to change it up a little bit. Let me know what you think about this format. And I wanted to give you guys an overview of the platform, what we have today, what our plans are for the future. Wanted to talk a little bit about the activities besides development of the platform that we are working on. I wanted to talk about Ethereum, and I wanted to ask you what you think about this. Definitely cannot avoid that. We're going to talk about Liv, Uniswap, all that amazing stuff that I had a few lovely discussions with community members in the past few days. Of course, announcements. People were excited about this in the chat, yesterday. All right. Of course, I'm gonna take your questions. Hopefully, this is not going to run for more than an hour because I have another call to jump on in about 45 minutes. And sorry about being late today. Okay, let's just run through this. Let's just flow through this. No time for blabbering. All right. Very quick platform overview to those for those that I don't know, didn't pay attention, don't know what's happening. Here it is. This is just something that I was discussing with one of our designers. We're working on very exciting stuff. And this is a diagram that we created very recently in order to explain to other people what's happening here, right? So this is the whole Winding Tree platform, basically here, right? So on the left corner over there, you have the OrgID smart contract. OrgID is decentralized identity system for organizations. And as you know, may or may not know, decentralized identity is a pretty hot topic as of now, but Winding Tree is, of course, early on all these things. We've been working on this stuff for like, I don't know, 2.5 years now. So OrgID smart contract basically allows any organization to create their own identity, to control it completely. Yeah, that's what self-sovereign or decentralized identity is. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Then we have Winding Tree Marketplace. If you go to marketplace.windingtree.com, what that website actually is just an interface for OrgID and a few for a few other things in this diagram, right? So this is a canonical interface for a few of our smart contracts. So from org-id, you see this lines that go to Ethereum and other blockchains. So let me get back to the other blockchain part. Actually, well, in about 2 minutes. So, but as you see, and as I said, companies can have their identities on the org-id smart contract, of course, interacting with the smart contract through the marketplace. So on the marketplace, let's say we have two companies, a supplier and a buyer, right? So this is your classic marketplace where you have, well, someone who wants to sell stuff, someone who wants to buy stuff. And through the org-id smart contract, actually, those companies, they are able to find each other. First of all, org-id smart contract, or I'm just going to be saying org-id. Org-id allows them to prove to each other that they're real companies through a variety of different methods. And then those two companies are able to communicate with each other. And on the picture, you see that basically those companies have to have APIs, right? And we are even creating those APIs for travel companies. For example, we created this open source project that's called Rooms, that company 2, probably it's a hotel, that company 2 is using Rooms specifically to enable API functionality for that company. Because if a hotel doesn't have an API, if they don't have an automated way of selling or showing their inventory on the internet, well, what's the point, right? We can call you on the phone anytime anyway. And company 1, probably that's a travel agency, right? They have to have some software that should be able to plug into the hotel API. And again, we created that open source project that's called Glider that gives that capability to company number 1, which is a travel agency. And basically through those APIs, those two companies are able to communicate with each other. Travel agency is able to say, hey, hotel, do you have any rooms available? Hotel says, yeah, of course. Here you go. Here's the price. Here's how you book it, right? All those APIs are, all those projects are standardized. They're not standardized. They are out there. They're open source, and hopefully the more people are going to use them, the more it's going to be standardized, and the more companies are going to use that. So it's just this amazing cycle of open sourcesness. Open sorcery, something like that. Anyway, one of those, I mentioned that company 1 and company 2 are able to connect with each other and prove to each other, first of all, that they're real companies, that this is not some sort of scammer on the internet saying that he is the CEO of Elon Musk and, you know, that you're going to earn a lot of Bitcoins, I guess. But one of those very important methods for verifying whether the company is real is through this feature that we call directories, right? So basically a hotel says, or a company that is, maybe they're a hotel, maybe they're not, we don't know yet. They're registering with an org-id or on the marketplace. So first they can prove that they're owner of a certain website. They're saying, okay, here's my website. Here's my, I don't know, Twitter account, LinkedIn account, and stuff like that. But all those accounts and websites, they can be, you can register it in no time, basically, right? And there could be an issue where you have a new company, maybe it's a new hotel, they have a new website, they have a new everything. And that's not very trustworthy, all the information that you can look up on them. So we're saying in order to be really verified as an organization, you have to go through this community vetting smart contract, right? And basically the idea here is that as a company, you stake a certain amount of LIFT tokens and you're saying, I am a hotel. And those directories, this is work in progress, by the way. Those directories, there are different directories. There is a directory for hotels, for travel agencies, for airlines, for all sorts of different companies. Each of those directories has a different set of rules. So the hotel directory says, okay, hotel should provide information about their location, about this, about that, the website, all of those different things. So the hotel says, I'm a hotel. Here's all of my information that the directory rules say I have to submit. Here they are. And then the process, it goes through the smart contract that was actually created by our friends from Kliros, which is a decentralized justice platform, as they call it. And then, well, the process, I'm not going to go into details of the process, but basically the community can take a look at that application and say, yes, you're a real hotel, or no, this is a total scam, or maybe some information is missing. And through that process, then the company that submits their application, when they're vetted, they become, well, truly trustworthy hotel or travel agency, or whatever that company is actually, again, or smart contract is decentralized, so any company can join the platform. Well, now those companies, and perhaps we could show this better. I don't know how. Please, guys, if you can create a better version of this diagram. If something is not clear here, just send it to me, and we'll be using your version of the diagram. Hey, but basically, company, when they are vetted by the community who know that this is a real company, now they receive, you cannot quite see it here, they receive a special governance token for the DAO smart contract, right? And basically the idea for the DAO here is that it's inevitable. When you have a smart contract on an immutable blockchain, if you want it to be completely decentralized, well, then you have to upgrade it somehow. Otherwise, and that's the issue that we have with one of our smart contracts. I'm going to talk about it, of course, as well. The contract is completely immutable. It's decentralized. We cannot update it. But we should be able to do that because maybe there's a bug there. Maybe we are envisioning a new feature of the smart contract. And there are mechanisms to update smart contracts on the blockchain, but you cannot put that power into the hands of a single individual or a single company, right? We don't want that. This platform has to be completely decentralized. So that's why you have to have a DAO. And through the DAO, all the vetted companies on the platform will be able to say, okay, so OrgID smart contract needs to support a new cryptographic hash, blah, blah, blah. Here's a proposal. The community votes on it. They either say yay or nay, and proposal goes through, or maybe it doesn't. And here we actually have a few different smart contracts. All of them are in orange. You see the org ID, you see the directory smart contract. Actually, there are a few smart contracts there. And then there's the DAO smart contract itself. And our canonical marketplace interface right now supports the org ID smart contract. We already have smart contracts for directories, but the marketplace will be the interface with for directories as well, the next iteration of the marketplace. And then the DAO, the marketplace will have the interface for the DAO as well, as you see from this diagram, and the DAO will be able to update all of the smart contracts on the platform. And maybe through the DAO functionality, we'll be able to communicate with the community, or the community will be able to vote, not just on smart contract updates, but also on all sorts of other things. Let's move on. Some of our activities. It's not about just the development of the platform. It's not the only thing that we're doing. We're doing a lot of stuff, exciting things. We're talking to a lot of companies, travel companies, not non-travel companies sometimes as well. And we have actively started to participate in the development and this idea of decentralized identity. Again, we were quite early with decentralized identity, specifically for decentralized identity for organizations and As you may or may not know, OrgID and our standard for self-sovereign identity for organization is based and inspired and is compliant with W3C standards such as decentralized identities and verifiable credentials. But very recently we started working on this very interesting what they call it special interest group within the Decentralized Identity Foundation, which is a group of companies that are all working towards decentralized identities. That group has been started. It was started by one of our advisors, Douglas Rice, and I'm a co-lead on one of the working groups that specifically works on verifiable credentials and offers. Very interesting work, and we're hoping for us this is an educational opportunity. We're very, very happy that hospitality industry and travel industry in general is catching up with this tech, because it is extremely, extremely exciting. So that's something that we're doing that's super awesome. Another thing that well, we teased quite a bit, and well, we didn't know what to do, right? Because we talked to DEF CON back in, I think it was August, and we knew about the conference, that the conference is upcoming. Back in August, I guess we had almost a year to work on this, and we started teasing it a little bit, and we were hoping that we're going to announce it in the beginning of the year. But of course, that didn't happen because DEF CON moved the date of the conference several times. But we went through the process, and our application, actually, our proposal was one of the first proposals. I don't know why, not one of the first. I think it was the first, or maybe second. I don't know why it's number 3 over here. So we worked with DEF CON on this. We have all of the docs in the row. We have access to hotels in Bogota. We have an interface that we built. Glider is basically as an open source interface is totally applicable to this use case for DEF CON, for any other conference. So it's there. We have everything connected. We're just waiting for the DEF CON team to say, okay, the conference is actually going to happen on such and such date, right? Yeah, bummer, waiting for them. But this is exciting stuff. So this is going to be absolutely awesome when the conference finally announces their dates. On this note, Ethereum is amazing. And I mean, all the smart contracts, all the progress, the community around it, but it's damn slow and expensive. And with the team, we were discussing it recently that we're finally at a stage, and I was hoping when we were starting this back in like 2016, 2017, when we were thinking about this, and everyone was saying, but Ethereum is slow, it's just 7 transactions per second. And we're just thinking, well, just give it a couple of years. Come on, it's going to improve. It's going to be much, much better. And after all those years, we're finally at a point where no, Ethereum didn't catch up. They are slow, and it is expensive for, if you want to create, if you want to interact with any smart contract on the Ethereum network right now, it's extremely expensive. I mean, try sending an ERC20 token. It's like, let's say you want to send $5 worth of DAI to your buddy. The transaction cost is $15. It doesn't make any sense, right? So we have this internal discussion about how to solve the Ethereum challenge, because we are at a stage where Ethereum is a bottleneck for us. And this is a good problem to have. What to do with this? Internally, we're discussing all sorts of different options, moving to layer 2. There's a variety of different options. There's optimistics, there's zero knowledge, ZK rollups. There's a potential to use another blockchain, but not separately for Ethereum, but maybe using several different blockchains simultaneously, because we still want to be on Ethereum. and allow users to, when they interact with their smart contracts, when they interact with the marketplace, for example, allow them to choose, uh, which blockchain you want to work with right now. Another option perhaps to use Chainlink or a similar Polkadot or something. I'm really curious about your opinion actually, and so if you can comment on that in the chat, that would be really awesome. Maybe amazing project. I mean, of course, we're going to choose something that's not entirely new, but I'm just curious about your opinion about all those things that I mentioned so far. Let's talk about Leaf a little bit. We had lively discussions, as I mentioned, with some of our community members. Internally, of course, we're trying to solve this for a long time, and a lot of people in the chat are saying, "Why are you not doing anything?" We are doing a lot of stuff, and there are conversations, and that there are things that we're doing. I'm going to start with the prompt. Oh no. I had a screenshot of our GitHub repository here. The LIF token, particularly the LIF token code, and for those of you who are familiar with smart contracts, basically what's happening here is the LIF smart contract, which is an ERC, completely ERC20 compliant, used undocumented way of providing information about the code for the token, the LIF thing, and the decimal points in our smart contract. And the problem is the smart contract, how it's supposed to be, is completely decentralized. We cannot change anything about it. Some of you suggested, "Oh, I'm going to change this. I'm going to change that in 30 minutes, and it's going to cost you 100 euro." We know how to fix those things. We are working with smart contracts every day, right? The problem is the smart contract is completely decentralized. There is no way to change it. And the exchanges like Uniswap, like other websites on the internet, they rely on this optional functionality of the ERC20 token, which was implemented slightly differently in LIF back in the day, because that was 2016. There was the standard was still, undergoing some changes. Whatever the reason was, LIF is an ERC20 token, and it should be able to be listed by all of those different companies, organizations, exchanges, and stuff like that. We submitted a pull request to Uniswap back in September, and we said, "Hey, this is how you're going to fix this problem, not for just LIF token, but for many, many other projects out there." That pull request is still pending. We are talking to Uniswap constantly, but I want to ask you. I want to give you a little bit more control, and I want to ask you, what do you want to do? What do you want us to do with this issue? We understand this is an important issue. We want to fix it as soon as possible. And I created this little poll over here. You can point your smartphone. You can, I don't know, take a screenshot on your smartphone. Follow this link. Actually, let me copy that link into our Telegram channel as well. So you can just click on it from Telegram. Right. Perfect. And let's decide together what we want to do about this. We are in talks with a few different exchanges, with some big exchanges, with whom maybe we have a potential to do a partnership, but probably it's going to cost us a little bit of money. Not a little bit. With big exchanges, it's going to be actually a lot of money. There are smaller exchanges, and there was a suggestion from the community that we could list on three of those, and that's when the token is going to appear in CoinGecko and stuff. the problems that I have with exchanges, some of them are claiming that, oh, we are a decentralized exchange, yada yada yada. IDEX said exactly that, and then after a while they delisted our token. Well, it just means that you are not a decentralized exchange, that it's a complete BS, right? And the problem with these exchanges is it's just an extortion. You list once, they can say, oh, sorry, you are not, I don't know, compliant with whatever the rule we created yesterday. So you're going to have to pay $10,000 again. I don't like that. I would like to list on a completely decentralized exchange, which is, we are on Uniswap, of course, and I understand that it's a problem today. So follow the link and let's see what is going to be your opinion, what the community is going to decide. We're going to work on. After all, we're all in it together, right? You should have voice and you should have a choice. Let's see what the results of this are going to be. I'm going to leave this poll open for about a week. So until the next Monday, you have time and you have to voice your opinion if you care about this project. The announcements. So this is something that we were all excited about the last week, right? This is what I've been teasing, and here's what's happening. We were going through our white paper, the original white paper, where we outlined what we're going to work on, what we're going to create. And the majority of points that we mentioned in the original white paper, we've completed them, we've accomplished those tasks. But obviously, there is a whole slew of new problems that we are trying to solve here. Something that we couldn't even envision, I don't know, a problem with the Ethereum, with the Lift token, right? Or all the scalability problems with Ethereum. And there's quite a few projects within the scope of the ORID and the marketplace and the directories and the DAO and stuff that we need to solve here. So we are writing a completely new white paper that will be based on top of our original original white paper, where we're going to outline all the next steps that we're going to take. We're working with smart contract specialists. We're going to work with, and we are working with user experience designers. We really want the final solution to this problem of truly decentralized marketplace. And the problem of that is not just technology. We created the technology, but perhaps for trial people, it's very hard to use. We're talking, well, I should have mentioned it in the activities part, I guess, but let's say we're talking with this amazing company from Italy who says we have access to 10, 20, 30,000 mom and pop little hotels out of Italy. And we would like them all to be connected to the Winding Tree marketplace and then sell their inventory through the Winding Tree marketplace. But when we start talking, all right, so each hotel has to create their own account on the marketplace. Therefore, they have to have MetaMask. Therefore, they have to have a little bit of cryptocurrency, Ethereum. And imagine a 60-year-old hotel owner. They have, I don't know, just a few rooms, maybe 6 to 10 rooms. How hard would that be for them? And this is a problem. This is not just our problem. This is a problem for the crypto in general. Still very hard to use. Imagine teaching your mom or dad about this, teaching your uncles. It's very hard to understand, even for really, really smart people, which again, I've seen in the travel industry that very, very smart people having really hard time understanding this and getting to use this new technologies and this new ways of doing things just takes a lot of time and a lot of mental effort. How do we solve that? I'm sure we can solve it with combination of different solutions. You know, how can we make the user interface better? How can we mask all of this craziness that crypto or blockchain is creating? You know, hey, generate your private key. What the heck is private key, right? Um, and it's going to be a combination of education. That's why we're participating in all these different working groups. We are trying to educate travel industry and general public about these technologies. But on the other side of this, yes, it could be a lot easier to use. How about you have an app on your phone, you click a button, it says create account. It says create account, not generate your seed phrase. That's the difference here. So this we're outlining in this new white paper, which is in the works, which I'm giving it about a month. Maybe it will take a little longer, 4 to 6 weeks, but we want to complete it as soon as possible. Give it for you guys to review, so you can give us feedback. And this is just super exciting. I love working on real products that people like using, and I want OrgID, the Winding Tree Marketplace, this decentralized marketplace, to be as easy to use as possible. And this is a giant leap towards that vision. Okay, finally, I'm gonna take the questions that we have here. Please let me know if you Claudio saying that the poll is too easy to manipulate. Why would anyone want to manipulate that? All right. And let me know how we can address that. I don't know. Okay, let's take the questions. Gonna stop sharing. And thank you, Spencer, one more time for sticking around for such a long time. We enjoyed working with you. Spencer was preparing all these questions, and of course he was communicating with you guys about all these questions. So where are those? So let's fix that link. You're saying that the poll is very easy to manipulate, but in reality, it is not. Try and do that. It is restricted by IPs. You cannot vote via a VPN. So should be pretty legit, Claudio. So I'm not sure your concerns are. Yeah. Anyway. First question is from Senin. How do you plan to allocate your time over the coming year in regards to your projects on and off the table? OrgID bot is nearly completed. So actually we had a retrospective meeting about OrgID. It is completed, and yeah, maybe a couple words about OrgID bot. Again, the issue is, imagine the 60-year-old hotel owner from Italy who needs to use MetaMask and stuff, right? This is how stuff works on the marketplace today. We thought, if we could give this tool to people who already have MetaMask and some Ether and make it useful to those people. So that's why we created the OrgID bot as the means of testing the usefulness of this decentralized identity solution that we created. And it's working great. It's working for a few companies, but only a limited number of companies. Why? Again, because of the barriers, because even crypto companies are saying, well, it's expensive to communicate with a smart contract. It's, I don't know, slow. There are all of these concerns that we need to fix. And again, that's why we're creating the new white paper. Do you have any new projects you plan to pursue after, let's say, OrgID bot is completed? Our focus will be on OrgID as the core functionality, on improving the marketplace drastically, so that is very easy to use. Perhaps that will involve some mobile applications as well, because it's going to be much easier for people to work on stuff on their phone, for example. I don't know, again, generating the seed phrase or creating an account where cryptography will actually has to happen in your device. So we're envisioning that, and the details of that will be in the white paper. We are not planning any new projects here. We have, again, OrgID and the marketplace as an interface on top of that, the directories, the DAO, Rooms, Glider, OrgID bot is just one of the applications on top of that, and we want to improve this whole ecosystem over here. But if you have any suggestions as to what can be done here, we're all ears. But I think we have enough work for now. And by the way, we're hiring for this, we're hiring a lead engineer, we're hiring a few different engineers, smart contract developers, designers. Yeah, I think we want to just double down on this stuff. There's a question from Max. Which crypto companies are using or want to use OrgID bot? Well, we talked with a few companies, and we hear this problem all the time, not just from crypto companies, but if you go on Twitter, if you go on YouTube, if you go on Telegram, again, there are people that are pretending to be the CEO of Elon Musk, and what you going to do about those people? There should be a system for verifying the trustworthiness of those claims and whether those people are able. I literally just yesterday I deleted the guy or banned the guy who posted again that Elon Musk is offering you Bitcoins. I mean, that's a silly problem. Of course, we all know that what kind of stuff is that, but there could be a situation where someone will be pretending to be myself or Pedro or someone else on the team and talking to you and saying, hey, I'm selling my Lyft. Do you want it for cheap? And unfortunately, it's not you who are watching this video probably, but unfortunately, there will be people who are going to say, wow, this is amazing. And just, I don't know, in hopes of making money, will fall for that scam. There should be a way to verify that. So a lot of crypto companies, a lot of other companies have the same problem. There are a few on the OrgID, on the Winding Tree marketplace. Check them out. Danny is asking which projects we're working on, which I talked about in details. Glider, what is the purpose of Glider for Winding Tree? Danny, Glider is, we give Glider as a tool, open source tool to travel agencies so they can communicate with other companies on the marketplace, because again, travel companies are quite outdated in terms of functionality, and we're just giving them means to connect to each other. For us, Glider is not a travel agency. We don't want to be a travel agency. I said that multiple times. It's just a primer of how things can be done on top of the Winding Tree network. There's a question from Paul. Major NDC aggregator companies, are they open to sharing their inventory with Winding Tree? Yes. Do you already have contact with other aggregators? Glider actually is integrated with Amadeus. It has all sorts of different issues. Those legacy connections, they all have issues, and but still we have access to those. Paul is asking about IATA. IATA is not an aggregator. It's just an industry organization, basically a certification that you're a real airline or real travel agency that should be able to access airline inventory. Nothing else. They are not an aggregator. Another question from Paul. Is ATPico working with Winding Tree still? We do not have an active integration project with ATPico at the moment, Paul. Are there plans in the future to make an improvement for the world while planting trees? Fees from the big airlines. I think I've seen this question before and answered that previously. Friends from the US, right? There's a question from Steven about when we're going to update our roadmap. Steven. In 4-6 weeks. Okay, Steven. From Arhan, you said prices will be cheaper than other companies on Glider, but there's basically there's a price problem on Glider. Sorry, I'm just looking. I think it's a mix of questions that I've already answered previously. Yes. So I think all the new questions that were here, I already answered, and I just went into the last questions, into the questions from the last AMA, which, yeah, guys, go ahead. Watch it on our YouTube channel. And actually, this is good timing because I still have 5 minutes to prepare for my next call. And if there are any other questions that you want to ask me, please go ahead, do that on Telegram, and you have about 2 minutes. Otherwise, I'm going to finish the presentation early a little bit. But I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope this was informative and exciting, because I'm excited to work on all this project. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for a couple of minutes. There is a message from Spam Fighter bot that user didn't pass the validation. I'm not sure I should comment on it. Lorenzo, we are in discussion with, we're in talks with, I don't know, 20, 30 companies as of now, different stages, different conversations. Some companies are serious, some companies are just exploring and browsing. So Stefan, no, we have enough funding for the next 2 years. The new roadmap, the new white paper will take that into account. Moonboy, how long would it take for Lyft to get listed on these exchanges? How would I know? We need to talk to those guys. Ooh, there are questions in the YouTube chat. There you go. Oh my, that's a lot of questions. Sorry, guys. I missed that. There is a question about the current development state of Rooms. Rooms is ready for alpha users, basically. So we are testing it, and we plan on testing it with a few more hotels. We're showing it to a few hotels. The Rooms is a little tricky without the new version of the marketplace, I feel like, because Rooms is an inventory management system, which, again, if you're a small hotel, you can start using it today. You have a new booking, you enter it manually, you have new this, you enter it manually. But then if you want to connect it to the Winding Tree Marketplace, again, that's when you have to have MetaMask. That's when you want to have Ethereum and some Lyft tokens. And that's where problems for small hotels start to happen, right? So the new version of the marketplace should resolve these problems. There's another question about how hard it is to find qualified people. It's always hard to find qualified people. Yes, I think it could boost the development speed of all of our projects, of course. And so that's something that we're concentrating upon right now, hiring. Do you plan to be backed with crypto funds in order to continue to exist when all Ethereum funds will be gone? Lorenzo, we have funding. We have enough of it in order to complete the new version of the marketplace and more. It is tricky. I don't believe in investors in decentralized projects. This is why we did ICO in the very beginning. Think about it. If you set up a project and you have institutional investors like A16 or Polychain, I don't get how all these other companies are working. Let's say there's Blockstack and they went through Y Combinator, which means that Y Combinator now owns 7% of, think about it, 7% of decentralized, completely decentralized project. What does it even mean? I don't want our system to be owned by an investor or by just a group of investors. We have a potential to maybe build something else, something on the side of Winding Tree, which will be a for-profit company. Let's say it could be a consultancy for Winding Tree about how to integrate into it and stuff like that. And that company could raise money and then make sure that there's enough money and there are enough resources being applied to the open source Winding Tree decentralized platform, again, which is not owned by anyone except for the community of child companies on it. So that's the idea. Don't understand the last question. What do you mean with big exchange? I'm not sure that question is well formulated. Surprise for April is new white paper. Absolutely right. And I think it should be good enough of a surprise, or not a surprise. I think it's a new approach, and I'm really excited about is the white paper, the new roadmap, and fixing once and for all the Lyft issue that I know this is a very, very hard problem for all of us. So let's fix it together. Guys, I'm going to finish this transmission. But I'm going to see you guys next time with the new white paper, with new amazing announcements and news. And in the meantime, let's have a constructive conversation and on our Telegram chat, and let's vote on that poll. Let's see what you guys want to do. I've heard different opinions from people in the chat. Super stoked to work on all of this with your support. Thank you so much. And I'm going to see you